Okay.
But during birth, the tailbone sort of moves.
Yeah, well, during birth, your body gets flooded with hormones which relax your ligaments. So all of your bones get stretchy and, you can do a lot more. This is a tree an evolutionary tree based on recent evidence. And essentially what it's saying is that if you look up the scale, things change. When one thing changes, it can have a lot of branches from it. That is, evolution is a bushy tree. It doesn't look this clean. Every time you see something up here on the screen split into two, there are probably many of that one. Let's say where it says hair. There were probably many animals that had that hair, followed the vertebra, jaws, digit, amniotic egg, and hair, but failed to continue. So what's alive today has a common ancestor with something that died a long time ago, which is why this book is so much fun. You can go all the way back to worms and single-celled organisms. One of the things that you'll hear also is irreducible complexity. When people are trying to say evolution doesn't work, they haul this out. And the difficulty there is that complexity can be reduced. This is a picture of eyeballs, and the eyeball itself, or light receptor organ, I should say, has evolved at least 4 times. Think of the compound eye of insects. Think of our eye, and birds' eyes are very different. One of the things that I tried at the very beginning of class was to have you find your blind spot with those little cards. See if you could make the little guy's head disappear. Apparently, some of you don't have blind spots, but if you look up here, think about it from this point of view. If you're an animal and you develop proteins and you're going through your life, and it turns out that one of the proteins mutates a little bit, and often this is because this will be a specific type of mutation which allows metals to attach, and it'll become sensitive to light. And so somewhere way up here is an animal that doesn't even have a cup. It's just an animal, it's just like a paramecium, but it has a light sensor. It has a light center. And so it can go towards the surface of the ocean to get the sunlight, and then at night it can go down because it wants to avoid predators. So there are some things which do that. This is a limpet, which has just a little bit of a dimple, and that's all that it can see. This is a nautilus, that is a snail shell, and I'll show you a nautilus in the fossils. And it essentially closed over the front of the eye of the limpet. And now you've got a pinhole camera. All of us have used pinhole cameras, right? Well, now you get a little bit better. Have these two things connect and form a sac of a fluid that has a different density than the rest of the fluid, and you've got a lens. Now you're starting to get an image that you can recognize. Then you develop muscles which will stretch or relax the lens, and now you can focus on your hostess Twinkie or whatever. What is that?
Cupcake.
The cupcake. And get it quickly before the other guys do. Let's see if I have any more that are worth showing. Oh, one theory, there's a theory and hypothesis, remember? That one of the ways that animals can evolve is by what's called neoteny. That is the retention of immature proteins or structures. And on this one, you can see an adult chimp with a snout that sticks way out, and a huge ear, doesn't look very human at all. But if you look at a baby chimp, if I covered that up, That's very close to a human face. So the thinking was that two things happened. One is that pregnancy didn't end when the baby was ready to be independent, like most animals. Most animals, you hatch the baby or you give birth, and if that giraffe that you just threw from 6 feet up onto the ground, if it can't get up on its feet immediately, it's lunch.
Yeah.
But human beings got this big thing between our ears. It can't get out the birth canal very easily, so we're born prematurely. Essentially, we should have stayed in for about another year. I know. Most mothers go, no, no way. And I'm going to stop for questions. We'll do the fossil experiment next week, and then we'll jump into DNA. Wow, this will be fun.
So what's your thing? Do you think we go back to the monkey? 8 or whatever?
Well, remember, we share a common ancestor with the apes, and that's why this book is so much fun. It is. Hello? Nope, nope. Where's the first connection? Come on. So, for instance, chapter 2 is for the gorilla, and it shows that gorillas and humans had a common ancestor. We're not related to the current gorillas. We're related to the gorilla's ancestor, which was our ancestor, which was approximately 7 million years ago.
So what did it look like?
It looked like something in between. There's a slightly hyperbolic movie called TV show called Walking with Cavemen, and it has one of its stars just basically walking down a series of skulls and telling you what they represented in terms of human hominid development. Any other questions? You're smiling? No? Okay. Well, it's come noon, so we can break, and we're done if you don't have any other questions. Thank you for coming, and next week's class will be in the other room. Yeah.
Are the dice? Did everyone sign in? Everyone sign in?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
No, I didn't. I was there.
We signed in.
If anybody ever asks you about evolution and how could something develop from a single cell into something as complex as a human being, point out to them that that's exactly what happened to them.
Yeah.
At one point they were a single cell.
Are there different ways of development or changes are after you break up?
Are there different developments that occur after a species is separated? Yes.
Now that monkey looks like my brother.
But remember, that's a modern creature. It's just a metaphor, an example. Thanks for trying the Moon-Earth experiment. I'm going to have to obviously make a change in that one.
Very good one. You know too damn much. You know that. Hey, you know, the other question I had was trying to figure out, because some of those very religious people are very anti-abortion, as I said.
Yes.
Wait a moment. When
I look at those
when
as opportunities for education.
Yeah.
I don't get confrontative
No.
because
I said, you know, the way I discovered, or that I felt, that when maybe you could have a point if it is a fetus, then it might be a human being.